Okay, let's talk about a mental shortcut, one that's so powerful it can basically help you predict the future of your money. Seriously. It's a simple little trick that shows you just how fast your savings can grow, or, maybe more importantly, how fast your debt can spiral completely out of control.
I mean, it's the ultimate financial question, right? How long does it take to double my money? A comedy movie once had this whole scheme to double your money in just 25 days. Sounds amazing. The only catch, you'd need a 1,460% annual interest rate. Yeah, just a little unrealistic. So for the rest of us living on planet Earth, is there an easier way to figure this out without needing a PhD in math?
Well, you are in luck. It's called the Rule of 72. And you should think of it as your own personal financial secret weapon. It's a super simple back-of-the-napkin formula that gives you a shockingly accurate estimate for how long it'll take your money to double. And trust me, this little trick, it's a total game changer.
So here's how it works, and it's incredibly simple. You just take the number 72 and you divide it by whatever your annual interest rate is. Now here's the key. Use the whole number for the rate. So if your return is, say, 8%, you divide 72 by 8, not 0.08. That's it. That's the entire formula.
So what's the magic ingredient that makes this rule even possible? It's something called compound interest. This isn't just about earning interest on the money you first put in. No, this is about earning interest on your interest. It creates this powerful snowball effect that can make your wealth grow exponentially over time.
All right, so theory is great and all, but let's actually put this rule into action and look at some real numbers. You are about to see just how dramatically a few little percentage points can totally change your financial future.
Okay, check this out. At a 2% return, which is pretty typical for a high-yield savings account these days, it takes a staggering 36 years to double your money. But jump to a 6% return, and that time plummets down to just 12 years. And what about at 9%? You're doubling your money in only 8 years. I mean, that's not a small difference. That's the difference between retiring on time and maybe working an extra decade or two.
And here's what that looks like in the real world. That 2% savings account, it's like taking the slow, winding country road. It'll take you almost 4 decades to double your investment. But an investment averaging 9%, something like a stock index fund, is like a rocket ship, getting you there in just 8 years. It's a really powerful comparison. Of course, it's always important to remember that past returns are no guarantee of future results, but you get the idea.
But, and this is a really big but, this incredible power isn't always your friend. Compounding is absolutely a double-edged sword, and its dark side, well, it can be devastating.
So when you're saving, compounding is your best friend. It's working for you 24/7, building your wealth. But with debt, credit cards, high-interest loans, it becomes your absolute worst enemy, relentlessly making what you owe grow bigger and bigger at a really alarming rate.
I want you to let this sink in for a second. The average credit card interest rate is sitting around 18%. If we use our rule of 72, that means an unpaid balance will literally double in just 4 years. 4. That's how scary fast high-interest debt can get completely out of control.
And it's not just debt either. This rule also works for inflation. If inflation is chugging along at 3%, the cost of everything, gas, groceries, rent, will double in 24 years. And that means the money you've saved so carefully will only buy half as much. It's a silent wealth killer, unless your investments are growing faster than that.
So how do we actually put this knowledge to work for us? Because understanding the rule of 72 isn't just some neat party trick. It's a practical tool for making smarter financial decisions, and you can start today.
Here's why this thing is so useful. First off, it's so easy to use. You can do the math in your head in seconds. It also helps you set realistic financial goals. You can compare different investment options on the fly. And maybe most importantly, it just hammers home the incredible power of starting to save as early as you possibly can.
Now let's be smart about this. The rule is an estimate, okay? It's not a crystal ball. It's most accurate for interest rates somewhere between 6% and 10%, and it doesn't factor in the real-world stuff like changing returns or taxes and fees, or if you add more money to the pile. So think of it as a guide, not a guarantee.
So what's the big takeaway here? The Rule of 72 is your financial compass. It's a simple, powerful mental model that cuts through all the complexity of finance and compounding. You can use it to quickly gauge growth, understand risk, and ultimately build a much smarter plan for your future.
So now you have the tool. The shortcut is yours. And whether you're trying to grow your savings, crush your debt, or just stay ahead of inflation, the clock is always ticking. The question is, how are you going to use this shortcut to make every single second count?
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and click on the bell icon to turn on notifications.